Good morning. I want to take one take your Bible and turn with me to the letter to Ephesians, chapter 6. We're in the final phase of the year, believe it or not, right? What a blessing this letter has been to me personally, and I hope and I pray that to each and every one of you as well, as we come to the last part of this climb. We're in the conquering phase that we've been sharing and partying for the last several weeks. And in this last part of the journey, we're going to be focusing on the reality and the significance of spiritual warfare and all that the Word of God has to say about the fact that it's real, that it exists. And just be ready, just be prepared, because whenever we expose the adversary like this, he will have a tendency, it's not a tendency, mark our words, he will find a way to begin to attack us in our lives. And not that it's already hasn't happened in some of your lives, or not to downplay or to minimize what some of you are going through, but as we look at these verses, these next 11 verses from Ephesians 6:10 to 6:20, you're going to be able to see firsthand the power of this adversary, the reality of this adversary, and how he works. But what I love about our Lord, he never just leaves us out there to deal with us. As we find over and over in the scriptures, especially in the Old Testament, as the children of Israel would venture out into these battles, he would always remind them that I'm always with you. That this battle is not yours, but it's mine. And what a blessing and what comforting that is, because this is the hope, this is the promise that we have from our Lord, is that he is there with us, ever present in these days, in these lives that we live in, where there's so much reality to the spiritual world and spiritual warfare. In chapter 6, in verse number 10, the Apostle Paul writes these words, and I'm going to read the first 11 verses. We're only going to look at 3 verses this morning, but these verses from verse 10 to 20 are very profound, because this is where Paul really drives home the reality of this thing. There's probably no other passage anywhere in the Bible, much less in the New Testament, that really defines the truth behind spiritual warfare, and Paul really brings it to light in this passage. So he says these words to the Ephesians. Again, the Ephesians being a church much like ours, a church that has found its way, that has finally realized that there's no turning back. That the only place we have is up in this beautiful journey called the Christian life, in spite of its challenges. He says this to them, finally, my brethren, finally within the context of everything that he just said prior to this, right? Because we know that spiritual warfare plays out in the relationships that we have in this life. In chapter 5, in verse 21, from all the way to verse 21 to 6:9, he addressed every possible relationship that we'll encounter in his life, beginning with the husband and wife relationship, moving on to the parent-child relationship, and he even gets to the workplace relationships. And I said this back a few weeks ago, and I'll say it again today. As you consider this passage, don't lose sight of the fact that the relationships that we encounter in this life, people that are part that make up these relationships, are not the enemy. He's the enemy. And he will use any device, any opportunity through the relationships and the people in your lives to hinder this walk, to hinder your journey, to hinder you from conquering the high ground. And this is how he works. This is how he can be so effective in our lives as we allow him to do so. So he says this, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wow. Those are some pretty deep and heavy words. He's real, folks. And his powers and his forces are real. And they're at play like never before. His methods and his ways, the adversary, are becoming more and more overt as we get closer to the end of the age. Paul goes on, he says this in verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Right there in those verses, from verse 13 on, Paul begins to lay out those pieces, those components, that armor that we're responsible for, that we are to put on each and every day so that we could become these warriors, so that we could confront him, so that we could contend with him in this life. But he concludes the passage by saying in verse 18, 19, and 20, he says, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereon with all perseverance and supplication for the saints. At the end of the day, this is where the battle is fought, is on your knees. I can't wait as we begin to break down each one of these pieces of armor, each one of these components, that where that battle is fought is in your prayer life, as Paul suggested in verse 18. He says in verses 19 and 20 now, and for me, that utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. In these verses, Paul is driving home the reality of spiritual warfare. You can't go but a few verses or a few chapters in the scriptures before you start to see contention and confrontation. You and I are on planet Earth today because there's a battle that rages out there. Really neat book that Larry Social turned me on to several years ago is a book by Eugene Robinson titled Run with the Horses. And it's a book about Jeremiah, and Jeremiah is living a life much similar to ours, much similar to the days and age in which we live today, where the children of Israel had so abandoned God and who he was and how he functions that he began to challenge, and he began to be led by the Spirit of God to challenge the children of Israel to come back to God before judgment comes. He's known as the weeping prophet, and there is a passage in chapter number 12 where Jeremiah begins to kind of whine and gripe to the Lord about the conditions and the situations in his life. In other words, he was focusing on his condition and forgot his position in Christ. But the Lord Jesus Christ called him out and said, how do you expect to run with the horses if you can't even deal with men? The title of the book is Running with the Horses. And there's this one section in the book that really drew my attention and really challenged my heart about the reality of this whole thing. And in the book Running with the Horses, where he was talking about the significance of God's purpose and God's plan for the universe and this planet of you and my lives. He said this, listen closely, this is a quote right out of his book. He said, there is a spiritual war in progress. An all-out moral battle. There is evil and cruelty, unhappiness and illness. There is superstition and ignorance, brutality and pain. God is in a continual and energetic battle against all of it. God is for hope and against despair. God is for heaven and against hell. There is no neutral ground in the universe, he says. Let's read that again. There is no neutral ground in the universe. Every square foot of space. Wow. That's the reality of spiritual warfare. Imagine the space in which we're in right now, and multiply that by thousands upon thousands, and we consider the cosmos. As most of you know, and you've been around this church for a while, you know that there are three heavens in Psalm 148 of Scripture. There is the heaven, the first heaven, the atmosphere in which we live. This place, planet Earth, is such a uniquely special planet. It is the privileged planet. It's the planet in which God chose to place you and me. So He's got a plan for you because you live on planet Earth. You can't go one verse in the Bible without this planet showing up in Scripture. In Genesis 1:1 it says this: in the beginning God created the heaven and the what? The earth. You live on earth. You and I. This place, this third rock from this sun in the Milky Way galaxy, is so strategic, it's so profound about God. And there's also a plan for the universe. You know what's out there right now? Look at verse 12 again. It says this in verse number 12 of our text: for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness where? In high places. Isn't it interesting that when God created Adam and put him on his planet, He gave him dominion over earth? Never ever did He say to venture out. We're venturing out like never before. Don't you find it interesting? Some of you that have been studying with me on Wednesday night Bible study, and we were looking at the significance of numbers in the Bible, that it was Apollo 11 that first landed on the moon. Where's our name? What's the number 11 versus 10? My little name will have to be 3. Yes. So you see God just manifesting His character, His nature, His word throughout His creation, so that we are not stuck just focusing on the situations and circumstances in life, but getting us to step back and realize that there's a big picture, that He does matter, there's a and that you matter in the real time. And He includes us in His purpose. He includes us in His plan. Remember the theme of Ephesians? Fully purpose. They realize the reality of these things. You know what we tend to do? We get so caught up in our circumstances, in the conflict in our relationships sometimes, that we forget that there's a real adversary out there that desires nothing more than to steal, kill, and destroy my marriage. Why? Because the effects, it can destroy the family, the effects the church, and if the effects the church, the effects the church. No longer is God's kingdom affecting the world like God intended it to. We're already living in the dark kingdom of the world. Scripture is clear that after God gave Adam dominion, and after the fall, that kingdom is pretty much passed down to fallen man. And Satan himself is the devil. That's why he was able to stand in the wilderness and offer the kingdom to none other than God Himself. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, Paul refers to him as the what? The God of His world. That's the reality in which we live. That's the real story as it relates to Scripture. That we have a God who has a warrior mindset. Everybody turn with me now to the book of Exodus, chapter number 14, actually it's 15. And I just want to read to you real quick a perspective that we need to have about our Lord. This is a fascinating passage. It's actually a song. It's known in the Bible as the Song of Moses. It's a song that Moses wrote after that great victory over the Egyptian army as God liberated them as they stood stranded at the Red Sea. Have nowhere to go. You guys know the story. It played out in Exodus chapter 14, where he splits the Red Sea, and the children of Israel were able to cross and drowned and destroyed Pharaoh and his fleet. By the way, I don't know if you guys are History Channel freaks or but check it out on YouTube. They have been sending these little mini stuff into the Red Sea, and they're finding chariot wheels and chariots right snapping into the Red Sea right now as we speak. Proving again God's word. Having said that, in chapter number 15, Moses writes this song to glorify the Lord after what he had just accomplished in the life of the nation of Israel. It says this: Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will bring unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have been thrown into the sea. Let's just look at the music Sunday for now. Verse 2. The Lord is my strength and song, and he has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him a habitation. My Father's God, and I will, listen to what he says, I will exalt him. This is why we exist, to glorify him, to exalt him, and our lives should and could not do that. You know, we're good about doing that in times of victory, but, man, the grace exalting him, even in times of sorrow and pain and grief. Because it's in those times that we will just speak to your heart. Listen to what he says next in verse 3. This is fascinating to me. He says this: the Lord God is a man of what? He's a man of war. The Lord is his name. You have a warrior covering your back. Over and over in the Old Testament, as you see the children of Israel going through a series of battles, whether it be in Joshua or in Judges or 2nd Chronicles, you find these battles, and every time God's people were confronted with an enemy force, he would remind them, this battle is mine. Know that and believe it. This is why we're reminded 3 times in the text that we just read in Ephesians 6 that the armor that we are to put on is not yours but his. It's his. Put on the armor of God. And we're going to know in the next several weeks, the next few weeks, exactly what that means and what these different pieces represent. Why does he say to put the girdle or the girt first? So profound. Gird up your loins with truth. Wow, what's the implication here? So profound. Because whenever we find these lists in the Bible, there's a reason why things show up first. God is a God of priority. God is a God of order. He puts these lists and he puts these things in place for us to challenge us, to reveal these profound truths to us. And what we can't lose sight of is the significance and the truth and the reality of spiritual warfare. You know, for me in this church now, that the Bible has a theme. You know that God got a plan for this universe, this earth, and your life. But the theme of the Bible is also very, very significant, and it really drives home everything that we've been talking about in the next several weeks. The theme of the Bible is simply this. The theme of the Bible is about battle for the kingdom and battle for authority. This is fascinating. You really know where God's throne is today, spiritually? Anybody have any clue? In the New Testament? It's in heaven. What know you not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost? In order for you to really understand what Paul was suggesting in 1 Corinthians 16, you have to go back and consider and see what the Bible says about the temple. The temple had 3 compartments to it. 1 Thessalonians 5:23. A body, an outer court, a soul, a holy place, and a spirit. And the holy place, the holy of holies. And we're not going to holy That was the dwelling place of God. This was where God's presence. This is where he manifested himself to his people. Living in the thing. With the battle and the New Testament. For the throne of God. And that's the reality of where we live. It's three-centered. Before you existed. Where the I am God. Waiting for us to come. He did this for us. And when we choose not to come, when we fail to come, and everything goes to hell in a handbasket, what do? Exactly what Adam and Eve did. We complain, and we point fingers, and we find fault in everybody and everything. Now we're giving this guy a place. There's no place, he said, in Ephesians 4:27 to the devil. So this morning, we're going to look at three very profound principles. We're going to look at, first and foremost, the mindset of a warrior. What should our mentality be? One of the last things that the Apostle Paul ever said to anyone is so profound as it relates to this principle, to this truth. Look with me real quick to 2 Timothy chapter number 2. 2 Timothy 2. This letter is one of my favorite letters, one of my favorite books, scriptures in all the Bible. And here's why. It's the very last letter that the Apostle Paul writes before he goes to be with the Lord. That should say a lot to us. It's so significant. Because in 2 Timothy chapter number 2, this is where I'm going to share with you a couple thoughts. What Paul is doing is he's preparing this young man for his departure. These are the last things that he's going to say to anybody. And one of the things that he says to this young man is the importance and the significance of being like Jesus. And we know from what we just read in Exodus chapter number 15, verse 3, that our Jesus is a what? He's a warrior. Listen to what Paul says to Timothy in this text, 2 Timothy chapter 2, beginning in verse 1. Thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. In that verse 3, he laid out for you and for me God's mission for us. Because in any warfare, in any battle, in any war, there's always a purpose. There's always a mission behind what you're doing. If you remember from the very first Gulf War, the mission was very simple. Kick the Iraqis out of Kuwait. This was after Saddam Hussein had conquered the country of Kuwait. That was the mission. And when they finally did that, a lot of people were saying, go all the way to Baghdad and take them out. Remember that? This is when Schwarzkopf stepped in, that great general, and said, no, this was our mission. We accomplished our mission. You know what our mission is? To take what God has revealed to us. This is your mission and my mission. Take to what God has revealed to us, to you. Commit it to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Does this verse ring a bell? What do you suppose it's implying to?
Discipleship.
Making disciples. This is our mission. This is why we were left on planet Earth. Not to take up this nice warm seat. To make disciples of Jesus Christ. This is your mission, my mission, everybody's mission to make up the body of Christ. Look what he says next in verse 3. He says in verse 3, Thou therefore, Timothy, endure a hardness. Wow, that's a really practical counsel. Why? Because he knew that this life was not going to be easy. He says, Thou therefore, Timothy, endure a hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. Not just any soldier, but a what?
Good one.
But a good soldier. Hang on to this one. Because when we start to delve into the armor, you're going to see what that really means. There's a reason why there are forces out there that are elite. Man, my heart's prayer is that will be with me. You know when you find elite forces? You don't have them at the battalion level. They're not seeing hundreds and thousands of men that make up a unit. But you see 12 and 14 and 15 men. And in some cases women now. The Navy SEALs. The Green Berets to go out in small units. Perform elite things. Missions that nobody else could perform. This is what we're called to be. Good soldiers, not just average soldiers. And these are people and these are men that choose to take their journey, to take their commitment, to take their service to a whole other level. Imagine if the body of Christ had that mentality. Imagine what he could accomplish. What he could do with us. Think about this. If things get really crazy and really bizarre, I remember maybe January or whenever, if we can't deal with the nonsense that this world throws at us, politically or economically or otherwise, I expect us to run the business. How does that happen? There's no man that warreth entangled himself with the affairs of this life. See, that's our issue. That's our dilemma. It's a powerful word. That's what we do. Some of us are in debt to creditors, sin, drugs, alcohol. Here's the perspective that we can't lose. That he's him who had chosen him to be saved. When it just comes down to it at the end of the day, this is why. This is why we exist. When we lose that, when we lose this perspective, which again takes us to the whole position thing, we lose sight of the mission. Man, it's amazing to me to see how Christians are getting so political, especially as we head down to the political scene. When you think for a second that Jesus is a Republican or a Democrat, you know what he is? He's an independent. That's what I feel. But see how caught up we get in the craziness and how we entangle ourselves so much with the affairs of this life. You know what we do? We get ahead of those other people because of their liberal policies and, as I said just a few minutes ago, they're not doing it. This country is more divided than I've ever seen in my entire life. Over race, over politics, over religion, even within the culture. What's happening now? We're entertaining ourselves. You know what I think about Jesus? He lived in a chaotic time, just like we're living in a chaotic time. And when he stood before Pilate in the Gospel of John chapter 18, in verse 6, Pilate called him out and he said, "Where are your fighters now? Where are your followers now? Why are they not defending me?" What his answer was? I mean, what? Hey, bro, don't worry about it. My kingdom is not of this world. You know why? chapter 2, I shared with you how the Bible defines your and my three enemies. Look with me back in Ephesians 2. Let's look at those, because you need to consider these as we go through our text, as we consider this whole spiritual warfare thing. He says to the Ephesians in Ephesians 2, and you hath he quickened, speaking of you and me, that word quickened means to be made alive. God's quickened us. How did he do that? For you were dead in your trespasses and sins. Why were we in trespasses and sins? Why? Look at verse 2. Wherein in time past you walked according to the course of this world. There's your first enemy, the world. And the world systems. What does that include? The government. The economic systems. How about this one, folks? Religion. Wherein in time past you were walking according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. Who do you think he's referring to there? Satan himself. The world, the devil. Here's number 3. Among them also we all had our conversation or life in times past in the lust of our life, in the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by the nature of the children of wrath, even as others. You and I have 3 enemies: the world, the flesh, and the devil. You have an inward enemy, that is your flesh. You have an outward enemy, that is the devil, that is the world. You have an upward enemy, that is Satan. And all 3 together. He'll use your flesh. He'll use this world to cause havoc, to cause chaos in your life. And to do. The reality of spiritual warfare. So what is the mindset of a warrior? Look at me here in verse 10. He says this first. In Ephesians 6, in verse 10 of our text. He says, finally, my brethren. He's writing to you and to me. He's bringing in conclusion to all the stuff that we've read. To the conquest phase of conquering the heights. This phase, conquering phase, starts for us in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 18. Now he's bringing it to head. Says, finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. That's our first charge, is to be strong on our own. Is that what he said? Be strong in the Lord. You can't do this alone. You cannot and you will not get through this thing alone. Over and over, you find the Old Testament leaders of Israel realizing this great truth. In the 144th Psalm, David wrote these words, blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Blessed be the Lord my strength, who teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. In the New Testament, this is all spiritual. In Nehemiah chapter number 8, the walls of Jerusalem were finally being rebuilt, and Nehemiah gathered the children of Israel together. They began to sing praises and open up God's word, and began to speak and preach God's word. I love that passage. He says to the nation of Israel, Nehemiah, great English, the joy of the Lord is my life. You're going to need strength to overcome this world. You know where you're going to get your strength from? He is the source. Look at the next part of the verse. He said, find my brother, strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. We're going to need his power in our lives like never before. What's his power? Who is his power? He lives inside of you as Spirit. He's called the Spirit of God. We sang a whole song dedicated to his Spirit living inside of us, being a part of us. This is the only way that you're going to overcome and be conquerors in this life, if you submit yourself to the power of his Spirit. Everybody see that tape up there? I just want you to put that stuff up there. distracted from hearing God's word. You know what he did? Which is really cool. There's power up there. There's power up there that's just kind of sitting there, waiting. Put new power up along this wall. That's why what kind of construction is up here. Or put about, you know what? He's sitting there, he's doing nothing. Waiting for the day that we can put a new sound system and a new video system in this church. You know what's going to happen? You know why that stuff is up there? So that we can plug into it. God is waiting for us to plug in. If we always do what we've always done, this old, pathetic, cheesy system, if we always do what we've always done, we're always going to get what we've always had. He's the source of the power in your life. Look with me. I'm going to hang out in Ephesians for a bit. Look with me in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 19. Going back to Ephesians. Listen to what Paul says, reminding us. These are all position verses. He says in verse 9, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to us word who believe, according to the workings of his mighty power. He says to us in chapter 3 and verse 7, wherefore I was made a minister according to the gift of the grace of God given unto me by the effectual working of his what? Power. Look at chapter 3, verse 10. He says in verse 10, to the intent that now under the principalities and powers in heavenly places might be known by the church the manifold wisdom of God according to the eternal purpose which God purposed in Christ Jesus our Lord. He wants our power to be manifested to these powers that are real. How does that happen? One of the greatest mind-blowing passages that you'll ever find in Scripture is the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4. We're kind of jumping around the Bible this morning a little bit. Look at chapter Luke 4. I'm going to show you a practical way of how you plug in. Just like he's going to plug in these speakers and these monitors and these screens and these projectors and all of this cool stuff. How do we plug in what did I say? Luke. Luke 4. Does anybody know the significance of Luke 4?
Temptation of Christ.
Somebody talk to me.
Temptation of Christ.
The temptation of Christ. Anybody here been tempted lately? You want to know how to deal with temptation? Here's your text. Here's your passage. Here's your verse. This is where you need to go. This is what Paul was saying to Timothy in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, when he said, but God did not give us a spirit of what? Fear. But of what?
Power.
Power, love, and a sound mind. You know what's wrong with most American Christians today? No sound mind. We're crazy. We're a bunch of nutcrackers. So we'll never realize and be able to embrace really what he's talking about when he's talking about love and power and a sound mind, because it's through those three things that you're able to crush the fears in your life. Luke 4. Incredible passage. The temptation of Christ in verse 1. And Jesus, being full of the Holy Ghost, returned from Jordan. This is immediately after his baptism. You go back to chapter number 3. And if you go back and look at verses 21 through 22, you find the baptism of Christ and Luke's genealogy. And you find in chapter 4, verse 1, a conjunction, right? The word and. He's connecting to the previous thought. So Jesus is baptized. His public ministry is getting ready to begin. And the very, very first thing that God does is he leads him to the wilderness. Who leads him? The Holy Spirit. You guys get baptized here a couple weeks ago? Did you experience some warfare shortly there? You know why? Now you're becoming a threat to this kingdom. And you said to us publicly at the Pecos River, I have decided to follow Jesus, returning back. You just woke up the adversary. That's the reality of it. Because all history is God made Satan counting. God made Satan counting. In the cosmos, on this earth, and in your life. And Jesus, being full of the Holy Ghost, he returned from Jordan. Listen to this. And was led by the Spirit. Who led him? The Spirit. Where did he lead him? The wilderness. You're going to follow Jesus, huh, Teresa? Let's go check you out. Let's go see if this thing is for real. Holy Spirit. Verse 2, and he being 40 days tempted of the devil. First time the word devil shows up in Scripture is actually Matthew's 4, which is Matthew's account of the temptation of Christ. The word devil simply means this. It's a New Testament term. You'll never find the word devil in the Old Testament. He's either called the adversary, he's called the enemy, or he's called Satan in the Old Testament. The word devil is a New Testament term. You know what the word devil means? Accusing you always about how pathetic you are. How you're not worthy. Making you feel guilty, so when you're down, he kicks you in the face while you're down. Being 40 days tempted of the devil, and in those days he did eat nothing, and when they were ended, he afterward hungered, and the devil said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, command this stone to be made bread. And Jesus answered him, saying, Wrong Jesus replied. What was his reply? The last three words in the text. It is written. He tempts him a second time. He deals with his flesh at this point. Then he tempts him with the lust of the eyes. What Jesus replied the second time? It is written. Then he tempts him with the kingdoms of the world, the pride of life. The third time, and you know how Jesus replied the third time? It is written. It is written, it is written, it is written. So this is why we spend so much time investing God's word in you, so that when we're confronted by the accuser, we can say it is written. You know what happens when you return from that temptation? Look at verse 12. And Jesus answered and said unto him, It is said, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a season. In a couple of weeks, I think it's next week, right? You don't know what the 3 days to get ready to go into what? New season. What the principle is there in verse number 12 or 13? He's going to pull a Arnold Schwarzenegger and return the ring. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. He's the death. Listen to the next verse. I love verse 14. We saw in verse 1 how Jesus was filled with the Spirit, then led by the Spirit. Look at how he returned. And Jesus returned how? In the power of the Spirit unto Galilee. And there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in the synagogue being glorified. Here's the lesson. Here's the key to life. Embrace the challenge. Embrace the hardship. Embrace the temptation. And always go back to him and his word. And as you're going through that trial, as you're going through that crisis, you know what he's doing? He's transforming you into the image of Jesus Christ. And when you walk out those doors, and when you walk out of your prayer room, and when you walk out of this, wherever God has you, He's transforming you. And now you're walking in power. Next principle, the methods of a warrior. Look what he says here in verse 11. He says, Paul says, put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. I can't tell you how important, and it's imperative that you understand the importance and significance of putting on God's gear. Can you imagine people climbing Mount Everest? We've been talking about Everest and its role and its significance and the metaphor that we've used throughout this series. Can you imagine people trying to climb up to 29,000 feet with a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops? That would never happen. But we do that in our daily lives sometimes. Could you imagine at a field operating base out in the desert of Afghanistan, going out on a mission in a t-shirt, short, and flip-flops? You know what those guys do? They armor up, man. Flak jackets covered from head to toe, helmets, weapons drawn, weapons loaded, weapons cleaned, ready to go on a mission. Why? You know what it means to put on the armor before taking on the challenge and the charge that God has put before us. And the very first thing that he tells them is, put this armor on. In a few weeks, we're going to break down exactly what all 6 and 7 of these pieces mean. And you know what's sad to say? Is I consider most Christians, the only thing they've ever put on is the helmet of salvation. I know a lot of Christians that are walking around this life in a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops with a helmet. Just a helmet. Tell me how stupid that looks. You got that image in your mind? That's most 21st century American Christians. Amen. Jesus saved me. Go be with Jesus. My 911 Jesus. Fire on Jesus. I want to live my life. I'm good to go. He saved my soul, and I'm going to live my life the way I want to live. Yeah, really? You're half naked, for God's sakes. You're content with the helmet. And he's challenging us to put it all on, man, because it's crazy out there. It's insane. It's nuts. And the very next thing he says to them, he says, look what he says next, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. He says, and he charges us to stand. Get up off your butt, in other words. And stand, because if you don't stand, you can't resist. Remember James 4:7? Resist the devil and he'll do what?
He'll flee.
Have you ever seen anybody resist anybody sitting down or laying down? Resist him. And the promise is that you'll flee from him. In order to be able to resist him, you have to be standing. Why? Because he's wily. Put on the whole armor of God to be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. He's a wily one. That word wily simply means this. He's tricky. It's a ruse. It's a strategy meant to fool, to trap you, entice you. What's the call this? Satan is not Satan's devices, or the adversary's devices. Listen to what Paul said in 2 Corinthians 2:10-11. He says, to whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to him I forgave it. For your sakes forgave I in the person of Christ. He talks about the importance and the power and the significance of forgiveness in our lives. Why? Because if we don't learn and if we don't embrace forgiveness in our life, you're carrying that baggage, that nonsense, that toxic thinking in your head. And this is the real battleground, by the way. And look what he says next in verse number 11. He says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his, listen to this, his devices. He's got a series of devices. Man, you walk into our study, or in our little area where my wife hangs out, and there's like 3 or 4 computers. Just, what does that one do, and what is it with devices? Everywhere. That's how he works. The methods of our warfare. We need to put on his armor. We need to stand. And the last thing, we need to understand this whole notion that it is a match, a powerful wrestling. He says in verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. She is not my enemy. If you're a Democrat this morning, you will be friends. You're kidding. If you're a Democrat this morning, the Republicans are not the enemy. If you're a Republican, we're going to doubly pray for you. They're not the enemy. He's the enemy. So we wrestle not against flesh and flesh. We are in old fashioned, we like to a wrestling match. Why a wrestling match? There have been a number of things. There were different ways. There have been a sword fight, a spear fight. But we chose a wrestling match. My son started wrestling when he was a little kid, and by the time he made it to ninth grade, he was moved up into the varsity of Ascent High School. My wife and I, we developed a real love for wrestling. And we went to just about every one of his matches that you could imagine, from Florida to Montana to everywhere. We go watch. Saw a lot of wrestling. I never really quite understood the real intricacies of the details of wrestling. I learned over time, but one thing that I was able to observe that really came to light that you could be on top 1 minute ahead by 10, 12 points, and one stupid move will not be on the back in your team. Right, Coach Michael Simon? What was our guy over at Santa High? Safe haven. He would always beat guys 12-0. He'd be ahead 12-0, 15-0, and he'd do something really stupid right on his back. My son made it to the final state championship this senior year. He was at 6-4 with 30 seconds left, and what he started to do? He started to stall. He was on top. Why did you stall? The clock's going to run out. A lot of Christians doing that right now. We're stalling. Jesus, please come back. Please. I'm just going to hunker down. I'm just going to hide in my little corner. I'm going to put helmets on my children. I'm not going to let them outside the gate. I'm going to live in the gated community. And God forbid that I go expose myself to the world, because you know what? The world is so wretched and so wicked and so wicked. I want to be this little greenhouse plant and go put me out in the elements because I'm going to die. You're all walking with the God's faith.
Hallelujah. Amen.
And here we sit like a bunch of greenhouse house plants. Praying and asking Jesus, please come. Get me out of this world, this wretched, miserable world. Yes, wretched, yes, miserable. Yes, who's in control? Guess whose kingdom it is? This is why Jesus said, occupy till I come. And what do we have the occupied room? Not sure how this kid got a 3-point move on it, but he ends up losing the final match. So we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Listen to this one. This was crazy. This is so deep, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's the reality of our world. Have you ever watched The Matrix? Crazy movie. Talk about a movie that really nails this principle. It's that. There's so much stuff that Hollywood has figured out because we know behind the scenes who really runs and who controls Hollywood, right? The God of this world. He brings the producer, whoever produced this movie, came up with these thoughts, understood Ephesians 6:12 like no other. in the movie, as it begins, there's two key actors or two key roles that play out. A guy named Neil, who is an average Joe, just like you and me, just kind of going through life, la-di-da, skipping and hopping along. And some guy from another dimension shows up by the name of Morpheus. A spiritual being. Trying to bring perspective and light to this guy's life. And let me give you a little bit of the dialogue from the movie because it's so profound. This is Morpheus talking to La-di-da Neil, who's getting through life with absolutely no purpose and no mission. And he says this to him. He says, Neil, the Matrix is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. The Matrix is a system, Neil. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, orthodontic people. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. I don't quite agree with that point, but hang with me. You have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect. Is that really connected? He says this next, I'm trying to free your mind, Romero, but I can only show you the door. You are the one who has to walk through. There is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. He closes with this. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends, you wake up, and you're in your bed, and you believe whatever you want to believe. Does that sound like 21st century America? He says, you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. You know what the red pill is? It's